One reason I got a giant freezer to put in my garage is so I can postpone projects until I have time. This means I don't always skin the animal first. Sometimes, if it's a small animal, I'll throw the whole thing in there. That's what happened today. This is a cottontail. You can tell by its cotton tail. That means I have to thaw this animal out and then skin it after it's been frozen for a while. When you cut a fur, you always want to cut the skin side, not the fur side like I do here. Don't do what I'm doing. This clip comes from a video where I show what I would do in more of a survival situation where I have to skin a wild rabbit to eat, which is very different than a domestic rabbit, and I did not intend to keep this pelt. But once I saw it and all the cool colors it had, I decided, why not? I know how to do it. I also kept the skull of this animal. The teeth whiten up quite a bit if you bleach it in the sun for a while with peroxide. That one has a little ways to go yet, but here is the pelt I was working on. I used the orange bottle for this one, and I don't stretch it as it dries because wild rabbits are absolutely paper thin. They're very stiff and they tear so easily. So I let it dry completely, and then what I'm going to do is what I would call suede it. I'm going to suede it over this board. This is just a piece of scrap wood that I also found on the side of the road for free. Kind of like they were made for each other, this rabbit and this piece of wood. You can already see some of the membrane breaking off. There's a few tears in the hide just naturally. There's nothing I can do about that. It was probably a young rabbit. It was very lean. It was not a fur animal like we think of, like a fur rabbit that some people raise domestically. A wild rabbit's a totally different creature. There's a tear that just occurred naturally, but it's sueding out pretty well. It's not like a firm leather that you could build something out of, but it could be a liner, it could be a sack. You could definitely use this pelt for something, especially if you oil it up a little bit. That's about as best I can do with something like this. I do it cheap and I do it fast. I don't spend all day and I don't spend $1 million making these projects. I do it with what I have. When people are interested, they can buy them, or I make something cool out of it myself. Thanks for following along. We're making great progress. See you in the next one.